funny too, the exhaust on this car, like it actually sounds pretty good. Hey everyone, I'm Rob and welcome to the test drive. Today, I'm driving the 2019 Chevy Camaro 1LT with the V6, and I'm gonna put down the windows here so we can hear this exhaust. I don't know if you can hear that, but it sounds pretty good. So the Camaro is essentially GM's entry-level sports car, although you can spec out a Camaro to a point where it's not even remotely entry-level. But the one that I'm driving today is the 1LT, so it is the base model, and this one is equipped with the naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6, which I really like. But before we get into the video, I have a GoPro Hero Session giveaway going on my other channel called The Wander Affair. It's the channel that I have with my wife. All you have to do is subscribe to that channel and then go onto the giveaway video and comment on the video. So I'm gonna link everything up above in the cards as well as in the description below with all the instructions, and we're gonna give that away as soon as that channel hits 1,000 subscribers, which it's already getting into like the mid 800s now, so it's very close, and I know we're gonna hit it really soon, and I can't wait to give away another GoPro. Now today's video is even more special because I'm actually in Southern California driving this car in the Malibu Canyons, which has been an absolute blast. I have another video on some of my favorite canyon roads. So like in every other review, we're gonna start with the exterior of this car. When GM came out with the new Camaro for 2019, it had a very controversial front end, and that's the front end that you can see on the front of this car. The lights are really small and narrow, and it kind of swoops in. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I don't think it looks as aggressive as the previous front end, and it sounds like GM is gonna be redesigning it really soon. But I don't mind it. I still think this is a really good looking car, and even for the base model, I mean, you do get this spoiler on the back, you get these large exhaust tips with the V6 at least. The wheels on this car are just these standard 18-inch aluminum wheels. There's nothing really special about them, but you can upgrade to 20s for not that much money, and you can also get the RS appearance package, which is not even $2,000 and makes this car look so much better, so much more aggressive. I actually drove a V6 RS equipped Camaro right around the time I started the channel. It was red, and that was a really fun car. It was the pre-facelifted, and it was really attractive. I love that RS package, and I think for $2,000, it's so worth it. For the exact same price as this car, you could get the 6-speed manual with the RS package, and I think that is a much better use of $35,000 in my opinion. Now, there are two different variants. You have the coupe, which starts at just right around $26,000, and then you pay a $6,500 premium to get the car that I'm driving without any of the additional options like the V6. Then when you get to the interior, this is definitely not bad at all. Obviously, being the base model, you don't get leather. It looks really modern. These seats, although being cloth, are very comfortable, and they do look pretty decent. You have these light gray inserts, and the materials inside of the car aren't the best. You do have mostly hard plastic in here, but it does look really good. You also have a decent amount of room. The driver and front passenger have plenty of room, but the back seat is pretty limited in terms of space. I cannot sit behind myself at all in this car. I'm 6 feet tall. Probably kids or maybe really small people might be able to sit back there with some decent comfort, but the back seat is definitely not a place where most adults would want to spend any time at all. And then you have an okay amount of trunk space, but the divider situation is a little bit strange because like a lot of convertibles have something where you basically push up and it gives you more space when the top is up, and then when the top is down, you have to move it, and then it obviously reduces the trunk space because that's where the top goes when it's retracted. However, in the Camaro, you have something that is almost like a floor mat that essentially divides the trunk and gives you almost no space when the top is down. And it's kind of strange. It's a weird mechanism, and I don't know how much I like it. But it does know when you clipped it. There must be some sensors where you clip the floor mat thing. This exhaust is just ridiculous. But again, for a convertible, it does have a decent amount of space all around. When you get a convertible, you're not expecting a lot of trunk space, you're not expecting a large back seat, you're not expecting any of those things, because this car is really meant to be a car that you have fun with, and you put the top down and you just enjoy the driving and riding aspect of it. Now, when you get to the performance, the standard engine option for the 1LT is the 2-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder, and that puts out 275 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, and it comes standard with the 6-speed manual. Although you can get the 8-speed automatic for very little cost. I think it's maybe a couple $100 at the most. However, the one that I'm driving thankfully has the 3.6 liter naturally aspirated V6. I just think this engine is a lot more fun because it sounds a lot better. It's more responsive. It does put out significantly more horsepower to 335 horsepower, and it puts out actually less torque than the 4-cylinder though, only 284 pound-feet of torque. However, this is just a much more fun engine in my opinion, and the sound is something that I absolutely cannot get over because it like pops when you shift. If you take it all the way to red line and then shift, it just pops. It's like, it's so unexpected. And there's actually a performance exhaust for right around $1,000 that you can also get from the factory, and it's a dual mode exhaust. And speaking of driving modes, in this car you have Tour, Sport, and Snow Ice. I've been driving it in Sport the whole time because it's a lot of fun. It's just more responsive, more aggressive. When you really get on it, it actually goes into performance shift mode, which just makes the shifts even quicker and more aggressive if you're driving it in automatic. Now you can put it in manual mode with the 8-speed automatic, and you can click the paddles. It's not the most responsive on downshifts. If you drive any of the V8 Camaros, you'll have the 10-speed automatic. That's what I had in the V8 Camaro that I drove almost a year ago actually on the channel. I can't believe how long it's been. That was a really fun car to drive. And this car does handle really well. It's pretty nimble. Driving it through the canyons, especially on Latigo Canyon Road, which is like a really tight, technical, uphill road, it's still a lot of fun to drive. I also love the steering wheel. I love that it's a flat bottom steering wheel, and the notches at 9 and 3 make it really comfortable and easy to take on windy roads. I mean, for the money in this car, it is a lot of fun. Now, you do pay quite a bit to get the V6 with the 8-speed automatic. You actually save like $2,000 by getting this exact car with the 6-speed manual, and this car has to be so much more fun with a manual. I have not driven a manual Camaro in this generation, or even in the previous generation, pre-facelifted Camaro, but I have to say that I would definitely save the $2,000 and get this with the manual, and I'm sure that would be so much more fun. Then when you get to the technology, there's not a ton to speak of in the Camaro 1LT because this is the base model. However, you do get this 7-inch infotainment screen, which is good enough because it does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard. However, for I think not even $1,000, you can get the technology package, which gives you the larger 8-inch screen. I'm not sure if that actually offers navigation. I know you can get it in some of the higher end Camaros, but it is a larger screen. It's a little bit nicer. It's a very similar system though. Two other things I wanted to mention. I love these vents, how the left one actually controls the temperature when you twist it left to right, and the right one controls the intensity of how hard the air blows at you. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that I would absolutely recommend upgrading to the Bose sound system because the standard sound system is pretty bad. So in conclusion, I think this is a really fun car for, again, $35,000, which is not a ton of money for a brand new Camaro. So I think it's well priced. I think it's a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed my time driving it in Southern California. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye-bye.